Hi everyone, welcome to the MU podcast. So in this episode, we will be interviewing Dr. Mahipal Jetta. Now, Mahipal sir teaches two math courses throughout like an year if you're in the Mahindra University. He teaches M1 and he also teaches M2. So, hi sir, how are you doing today?
Hi, great so far. I've been doing great.
How's your day been so far?
So far, it is fantastic.
Okay.
And it will be fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
I
about
hope
it.
so. So before I start the interview, I'd just like to say that I just want you to be as calm as possible, as comfortable as possible. I hope you're not stressed or nervous or anything.
Nothing like that. I
just-
always give stress
Yeah.
to the other people. I won't take it.
Yeah. So before I would like to start the interview, I just want to do like this quick rapid fire so that if there's any ice between us, it will be broken, right? So just to get you into like the flow of the questions. Okay. So the first rapid fire I'd like to ask is, what are 3 words you would use to describe yourself?
3 words: positive,
Okay.
energetic, and hungry.
Hungry. Have you had your lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is, what is your go-to order at Coffee Talk?
The go-to order. I mean, I didn't understand the question properly.
Yeah, it's
basically.
like on a random day you're going to Coffee Talk. What are you ordering?
Normally coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee without sugar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. What are 3 songs that you can't stop listening to?
3 songs. One is basically I'm a big fan of Ilayaraja and A.R. Rahman.
Okay.
So basically, one Telugu song is basically Eduta Neeve song.
Okay.
And then we have this Sakhi movie. So in that Sakhi movie, the title song is there. So I love that song. Basically, the background music,
I see.
Amazing.
That's
And
awesome.
then so the other songs basically comes from this. I forgot the Geetanjali movie.
Geetanjali, right,
So
right.
that I love the songs of that movie
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
So I've noticed that you also like music a lot,
Yes.
right? Okay. The last rapid fire question I'd like to ask is, if you had a choice between 3 superpowers, so
Okay.
power of flight, invisibility, or teleportation.
Teleportation.
Teleportation, you could teleport to any place you want. Like if you
Okay.
think that you want to be in your home right now, you could just go there.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And there's invisibility, so you can become invisible to like people.
Okay.
Or flight. Which one would you choose?
I'll take flight.
Flight.
Yeah.
Now, what we want to know is, what are your interests outside of academics? So,
Outside of academics,
Yeah.
I normally play cricket
okay.
and I love playing with kids basically of random age.
Okay.
So I play with a lot of people actually. I talk to random people on road. I just I can't stop myself from talking actually.
Talking.
Yeah,
That's
so
nice. That's
what
really
I
nice.
was,
I
interested
think that
in
also
actually.
carries forward to your lectures when you're giving a lecture, right?
Correct.
It's more of an interactive session rather than just a lecture itself.
Yes.
Right?
Thanks.
So, so you've also been through college. You've also been through a PhD, right, in IIT. And throughout this entire journey, you've explored the field of mathematics to an extent, right?
Yes.
What is one life lesson that you've learned from this exploration, from mathematics?
From life lesson, it is very simple actually. So math always gives us different perspective. So whatever be the situation, so you have to look at in multiple directions.
Okay.
So that's what I have learned from mathematics. Whatever situation it is, whether it could be a difficult situation or an enjoyable situation or whatever. So you try to look at from different perspectives.
Just various perspectives,
Various
so you can
perspectives.
understand the situation a lot
Exactly,
more, right?
exactly.
That's
So,
nice.
yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to your college days a little.
Okay.
What is one memory throughout your entire college life
Okay.
that you can't forget? One memory.
Yeah, that was fun actually. So I hardly attended the classes, but I would recommend students for not attending the classes, particularly in my undergraduation. I normally used to spend time in a library instead of classrooms actually. But one memory is basically there was a practical exam.
Okay.
But I never attended that course. But there was one lab actually.
Would you like to reveal what course that was?
It was C program. I think C++ programming.
C++ programming. Okay.
That was the course, but I never attended any of those classes. So there was a lab exam. So during that lab exam, one external faculty used to come and take the viva. So one lady faculty came and she started questioning.
Okay.
So I answered all the theory questions actually. So then she asked one programming related question. Basically, the question was something like this. So in which language did you write the program? So that was the question.
Okay.
So my immediate answer was English.
Did you end up grading?
Fortunately, I've got a good grade in that.
In that course?
In that course,
Okay,
actually.
nice.
It was nice.
What was the reaction of that?
Yeah, because she just kept on laughing, including the other people who
Okay.
just surrounded by her. It
That's
was a
nice.
memorable experience, particularly in the undergraduate days.
I see. So, right. So in today's college life, and in my generation in specific, mental health is a lot more important. So people take mental health, like they value mental health a lot, and because of a lot of awareness created, we have access to a lot of resources. Like there's this platform called Your Dost. So we have access to a lot of resources to get mental health support.
Okay.
And students in college days do require that support, right? That assistance. So back in those days, I'm assuming that a lot of awareness wasn't there. Like mental health, there's still this stigma around mental health that oh, it's not that important, oh, it's not that relevant.
Okay.
How did you deal with any crisis or any sort of issue that you got or any sort of problem that you had in those days?
Basically, there was only one way to get rid of that. Basically,
Okay.
So we were strongly motivated. We were surrounded by bigger problems than what we used to think about ourselves actually. So particularly speaking about myself, I came from a very humble family.
Okay.
So basically, my parents were illiterate to the most of the time actually. So going to the college itself was a very, very difficult situation for me actually. But going to the college and then building a career, that was a very big challenge. Particularly, I came from Telugu medium background, so there was a lot of stigma. And I used to feel that I'm very low compared with others. Okay, I never used to speak with other people actually, thinking that I'm not great or something like that.
So you used to
actually.
have that complex around
Yeah,
people.
I have that complex. I still have. I did not go away completely actually. So still I have that feeling. But I feel that so being driven basically gets out of such kind of stigma. So we should always be learning the things so that we can suppress that difficulty. That's what I felt. That's what worked out for me actually.
Follow-up question I'd like to ask is, we just spoke about the complex that you felt, right?
Yeah.
And well, it's kind of harsh to say this, but the Indian education system kind of enforces comparison on people because of the competitive examinations. Like you tend to compare yourself with others who are better than you.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you also used to do that when you were in your college.
Yes,
days,
yes,
right?
yes.
Like you had that complex.
Correct.
So how did you deal with that as well? Like let's say someone did better than you at something. And you did really put in all the effort you did. Like you had this exam, you put in all your effort, but still someone who put minimal effort got more than you.
Yeah.
How would you deal with that comparison that was created?
That was too difficult to deal at the beginning actually, because when we enter into IIT, so we are basically surrounded with very bright people actually.
Yeah.
And till that point of time, we used to feel that okay, I can top in the class or something like that. But once you enter into a better institution, so basically you are nowhere actually. You are basically at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, when you compare to the others. So but dealing with such a kind of situation is very, very difficult. I mean, it takes a big toll on us. So it basically puts down our self-confidence a lot.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, only thing is just be persistent, be consistent in putting the effort. That is the only key to get out of
just
that.
persistence.
Just be persistent and then consistent. That is much more important actually.
Okay.
So that's what worked out for me actually.
Okay, thank you. So in your okay, so if you had to pick one thing from your 4 years of college life or anyone's college life to be general, what do you think is the most important thing that anyone can learn or anyone can experience in their college life?
Anyone can experience in their college life. Basically, the peers, they give a lot of knowledge actually.
Okay.
They give lots and lots of knowledge. Basically, how a person should be and how a person should not be. Everything can be learned from the peers actually, particularly in those 4 years of college life. That's what I can.
So you just keep learning, surrounding yourself with a group of people that you can constantly learn from.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, you need to take out the positives from the people.
Exactly.
Okay, so you should identify what is positive and what is negative, and take only positives. Okay, to get into a better position. Actually, that's what I suggest.
Got it, sir. Yeah. Okay, so you've gotten yourself into academia, right? And I'm not sure how the norm was back in the day, but you've gotten yourself into academia. So what exactly inspired you to not go to a 9-to-5 job, to not go into a career with like a lot of money, but go into an academia?
Okay, interesting question actually.
Yeah.
So basically, in my childhood, I was surrounded only by three professions. One is
Okay.
basically farmer,
Okay.
kind of truck driver,
Okay.
okay, and then some caste related works actually.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't like farming, and I don't like this truck driver.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not demeaning any of those things.
No,
but
no.
basically, I wanted to stay away from such kind of things actually.
Got it.
And I was surrounded by teachers. So
Okay.
among all these people, I found teachers to be a bit respectable in those days actually.
Okay.
Right. I don't know the situation now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There still are. I sure
so
hope so.
basically, teaching was considered to be a better profession
Mhm.
because people used to respect them a lot. That's why I was got
You were-
into teaching.
Okay.
Right. And people, when I start teaching the things basically to my friends and all, they used to enjoy. So
Okay.
for that reason, I wanted to stay in the
So it
teaching
used to like
profession.
motivate you and
Exactly,
keep inspiring you
exactly.
to do it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's-
So I'd like to say that I don't know if you know this, but you have quite an impact on students in this
Oh,
campus. You have quite an impact. Like a
Thank
lot
you.
of people are inspired by you, inspired by your teachings,
Wow.
and like the way you live life, essentially, right?
Thank you so much.
So, what do you think about this? Like, what do you think about being a person who's creating an impact as you're going about your life? Like, what are your thoughts about this?
I don't think I'm creating an impact per se because I'm just living my own life.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know whether it is positive or negative for the others, but for me it is positive,
Yeah.
and I'm living my life to the fullest.
Okay.
I don't have any regrets so far. Right. Basically, what I'm doing is when I try to speak with the people, I always put myself in the other person's perspective.
Okay.
That's it. That's what I do. Even in my class, also I do the same thing. Okay, so I don't want to teach something random.
Okay.
Basically, I wanted to motivate the students. I always put myself in the student shoe, right? And then think, okay, what would students think if a topic is introduced? Right?
Interesting.
So then I teach.
Okay, so
So
you
probably
always
that
try to
might be-
put yourself in the other person's
Yes,
shoe,
yes.
and only then you will like start your thought process.
Exactly.
Got it. So speaking of impact, we all know about the Irene Vanchala NT reel that you did, right? So what's the story behind it? Like, how exactly did it happen?
So I don't know. One student randomly
Okay.
came to me. I think Vedashri or someone.
Mhm.
Yeah. So she came and she asked me whether you can work in this particular short film. Basically, they are planning to launch one
Yeah.
film from this master short
Master
club,
Shot, yeah.
club, and they asked, okay, will you be interested? Then I said, okay, why not? So then, I mean, it just happened just like that. Basically, I don't know why they chose me.
Okay.
But on one day they came and they asked me to act within one or two shots. I took some time because I did not look at the camera for some
Mhm.
time. But okay, I think in the third shot
You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of that,
I can boast of myself as a quick learner.
That's a good thing to boast about. I mean,
Yeah.
quick learning is always something that
Yeah.
I think people should know about, right?
Thanks.
Yeah. So because of that reel, I think that was one of their highest posts or something, and that's probably because of you.
No. It is not probably because of me. It is possible because of the concept actually.
Yeah.
The concept is really interesting. So
Yeah.
it basically strikes
It
a chord
resonated with everyone.
many of the people. That's why it is popular,
Makes
not just
sense.
because of me. Yeah.
Okay. So throughout your academics and even throughout your career, and I'm assuming even now to this day, you are constantly learning math. Math is changing it's a constantly changing field, right? So what was one of the biggest challenges or roadblock that you faced in learning a new concept or learning something new?
Learning something new. The
Right.
biggest challenge was the transition from one medium of instruction to the other medium of instruction. That is the biggest hurdle I ever faced. Math was okay. Math basically it will have certain set of rules. We just
Okay.
have to follow those rules. That's
Okay.
it. But coming from one medium of instruction to other medium of instruction was bit bit difficult actually.
Okay.
That's what I faced in my
By instruction, you mean language instruction?
Yes,
right? Okay.
language. Basically, so in Telugu medium we used to have different kind of nomenclature, but in English it is completely different.
I see.
So getting along with that transition was a bit difficult. But mathematics is not at all difficult actually.
Math is a universal language.
Maths is a universal language.
Yeah.
No matter whichever area you pursue, basically it will be same.
Same.
Basically, the underlying ideas would be same. But this language to that language is little difficult actually.
I see. Okay, so what's your opinion on AI? Like, you see a lot of development in AI, right? Like, what do you think will happen to the field of math and the field of learning or teaching math when AI is coming into it?
Okay, so let me ask this question. So, if some robot comes and teaches mathematics, will you enjoy that part? Or a person like, let us say myself or some other person, if that person comes and teaches AI? So obviously, human interaction. Basically, you need to because different students are different actually. So they think in different directions actually. So we need to understand how a student is feeling about the teaching. Right?
Okay.
So we have to look into their eyes and see whether they're understanding or not. If they are understanding, okay, then we can proceed further. If the student is stuck at that point of time, so we need to think about ourselves and immediately have to take a decision.
Okay.
Right? I don't think AI will be able to capture such a kind of nonsense at this point of time.
At this point in time.
But
what do you think about using it as like a tool to help students learn math better?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be helpful? Do you think it can create any, like a new way of learning math along with human interaction?
Yeah, that could definitely be helpful. For example, if you want to learn a course better, probably you might generate a few questions related to that topic and then try to solve. Then you can definitely get a positive result out of it. Okay, using AI in that way is better.
Okay, but you don't recommend or you don't think that AI will get to a level that human interaction is right now.
So basically, it is proof concept and all. I don't think AI will be able to handle that kind of thing at this point of time.
Okay. So, so in this university, there's a lot of disciplines that don't exactly directly deal with math, but they also have to take a lot of math courses, right?
Okay.
They also have to take a lot of math courses, and not everyone is excited about that. Like, for example, even computer science. A lot of people might not understand at this point in time where will we use calculus or where will we use this differentiation in doing computer science.
Okay.
Or, for example, you can take biotech. Even biotech or computational biology, they also have math courses, right? What do you say to, like, so a lot of them aren't motivated. A lot of them are like, oh, why do I need to do this course? Like, what do you have to say to add like a motivation to them? Like, how would you motivate someone to learn math in that perspective, right?
Okay, so basically, yeah, the same kind of situation I faced when I was in BSc. I mean, I used to think like that, same thing. Like, why are we studying all this maths, physics, chemistry? Where are we going to use all these things? Because we did not see the bigger picture at that point of time. But after going through all these things, so we realized that okay, all these things are useful. For example, let us take a mobile phone. Okay, so it has different components in it. Okay, basically the software, the the architecture, right? So different types of materials. So everything is in it, right? So now, what kind of math will be involved in designing a chip, right? Okay, so basically, to take up anything, right? Or whether you take a mathematical modeling or weather forecasting. So whatever you do, so basically you need to think. First of all, the problem must be clearly defined. Okay, how to put a mathematical problem or any general problem into mathematics. So you need to have that thinking to at least define the problem properly. Okay. Then thinking comes. Basically, the solution steps comes later actually. Right. So converting a generic problem
into
a mathematical problem, or basically any solvable problem, should be done in a coherent and logical fashion. Okay. So that logic will come only if you go through these courses.
Only if you go. So that course is the main takeaway is the logic that you learn.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Whatever be the problem, right? So basically, you need to convert that to a solvable problem. Right? So basically, that requires a lot of knowledge.
So any technical field that you go into, you can convert it into a math problem.
Yes.
That's nice. So you've taught a lot of batches, right? Like over your years in this university.
Right.
So what do you think is one ideal quality that every student should have? Like one ideal
quality is basically the attitude towards learning. Okay. That is sufficient actually. Okay. So the student should be hunger enough to learn the things. If that is there, everything will be
as long as they're motivated to learn.
Yeah, just motivation is the key important thing here. So if they are motivated enough to learn, that's it.
So even if they have any challenge or any roadblock,
can be surpassed. I'm the example.
Okay. Yeah, you've mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of friends, and I think I've spoken to a lot of people that want to eventually get into academia. Right? They want to get into research. They want to publish papers. Right? What is one advice that you've learned from being in this field of academia that you would give them?
The same thing. So basically, motivated to do the research actually.
Okay.
Right. So basically, they wanted to come with new challenges. Okay. So new problems in the research domain. So come up with a problem and then try to look for solutions.
Right.
Only thing is, you just have to be consistently looking at the publications, basically the state-of-the-art literature review, and then come up with your own problem and try to give your own solution actually.
Now, a lot of people think that going into academia is a little more difficult than just doing a 9-to-5 job or just working under someone, right?
Okay.
Like this is a difficult route, is what they would think. What do you have to say about that?
No, it is completely subjective.
Okay.
For me, this is the best job. Okay, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So basically, different people are different. They have different perspective towards their jobs.
Right. So even look at that with multiple perspectives.
Yeah, multiple perspectives, right? So we just have to look at in different dimensions, and then you pick whichever suits you. That's it. Right?
That makes sense. Yeah. So I have a very interesting question lined up for you. So we see everyone dealing with the term mathematician, or that he was a mathematician, he was a mathematician, right? Now, in this age of rapid development in the field of mathematics, what would you define a mathematician as? And before you answer that, would you consider yourself as a mathematician?
Mathematician, I don't know the definition of mathematician precisely yet. Okay.
In your opinion, like, what do you think a mathematician is?
Opinion. So mathematician basically who generates new mathematical ideas which revamps the entire field of math.
Okay.
Entire field of research. That I would be considering as mathematician.
A mathematician.
Okay? This is the temporary definition, which may be contradicting the existing definitions.
No, that makes sense.
Fine. So the question is basically,
do you consider yourself as a mathematician?
Okay, I consider myself as a mathematics teacher per se. Okay, I'm not mathematician. I'm not revamping the complete area based on the definition which I gave just now. Okay? So I'm not a thorough mathematician yet.
Okay.
I'm basically a teacher of mathematics. I always consider myself as a teacher.
So you teach students to get, like, be interested and motivated by mathematics.
Exactly.
And those students, like, what if those students eventually do revamp the field of mathematics? Would you consider yourself a mathematician then?
No, I won't consider that as I won't consider me to be a mathematician. I consider whoever has revamped it to be a mathematician.
Them to be a mathematician. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've expressed your interest in music, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. You've talked about music a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think that you enjoy music a little bit more after understanding, like analyzing it mathematically, or do you find any connection between math and music? Is there anything on that topic that you want to touch upon?
No, I didn't try to connect the mathematics and music, but I think the axioms are same.
Okay.
So where how the mathematics has been built and the axioms of Sarigamapada. So basically whatever music is there. So I think both are in the same. They both are evolved in the similar manner. That's what I can sense. Okay. I don't know whether I'm correct or not.
No, I just want to know your opinion about it.
Okay. But I never tried to connect this. I just enjoyed music as a music. I did not connect it with
math. That's nice.
But some people are there. They have tried to connect it. Some field medalist, I think Manjul Bhargava or someone. So they tried to connect music and mathematics.
Okay, that's nice. So, so I want to put you in this scenario. Now, let's say you're in a classroom full of 5th graders, like 5th class people.
Okay.
And you are given a task to introduce them to the concept of what a derivative is and what an antiderivative is.
Okay.
Right? How would you approach teaching people in 5th class, introducing them to calculus?
A difficult question.
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, so the kind of derivative, yes, probably in terms of change. Change in what is that? Change in maybe velocity, change in how they run. Okay. So how the change happens whenever they ride a bicycle, how that bicycle changes its velocity or speed. So probably in that way I try to introduce the concept of derivative. Right.
Okay, what about antiderivative?
The antiderivative, the integration concept, basically maybe I try to give a general example, like, so if you take food, so basically you are adding some portion into your stomach actually. So basically you are making it full yourself actually. So that is kind of integrating the consumption.
Integrating the consumption. So that's nice. Yeah, I think that
maybe I just tried, but I don't know whether it
definitely
takes any strike.
So Right. You have done a lot of, so I've gone through your profile on the Mahindra University website because I had to like research a bit upon before I interviewed, right? And I noticed that you've done a bit of research on image processing. Like
yes.
Image processing, right?
Yeah.
What was your motivation to get into that particular research? Like, why did you pick that particular field?
Okay, I did
research?
not pick because to be honest, my guide has given that topic to me.
Okay.
Okay, so I did not choose image processing per se out of my interest.
Okay.
So it is basically my guide has given certain set of slides and said that okay, you are going to work in this particular area.
Okay.
So that's how I got into
Image
processing. Right, so
did you enjoy that working on that?
yes. At least for the first 2 years, I struggled a bit because the new area was completely new.
Completely
So,
new. I'm assuming it was a little computer science heavy, right?
Yes. It is computer science related subject actually. So it was a bit difficult at the beginning, but later on I tried to learn as much as I can.
That's nice. Okay, so there'll be a lot of misconceptions about your field, right? Like being a professor, or being a professor in a university, or being a math professor. Now, what do you think some common misconceptions are, and how do you debunk them?
Misconceptions, probably people might be thinking that so this professor is biased towards some people, they are biased towards some batches.
Okay.
I mean, these kind of things might be there, okay, but for me, all the students are same.
Okay.
Whether you interact or don't interact, for me, everyone is same. You're all my students actually. So I mean, I try to keep it that way, and the misconceptions could be many things.
Right.
Okay, but none of them existent actually. Okay, unless you prove.
Makes sense.
Okay.
You're looking at that with a mathematical perspective too, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, throughout your field of research, what is one topic that you've always wanted to work on but you never gotten a chance to?
A good question actually. So I tried to work on many things. For example, I tried to incorporate GPU computing into my research, but that did not materialize. And I tried to work on some deep learning kind of things. Of course, I'm getting a chance to work on deep learning kind of topics into my research. So basically, slowly it is picking up.
It's picking up. Okay.
Yes.
So I have this one question, in from the representing a lot of students. A lot of people say, where do we use calculus? Where do we use calculus? Where do you think, what's your final one answer?
Okay.
Where do we use calculus in real life?
Okay, calculus in there are
in a
number
career
of applications.
Yeah.
Career perspective, basically to solve the real life problems, definitely we use calculus. For example, so let me give this example. Suppose if you have there are umpteen number of examples. I don't know which one to pick. Which one will be more generic actually. Let us say a simple thing. Let us say whenever you are having a rate of change. Okay. So how the velocity will be depending, right? So if I give you some kind of a acceleration information, will I be able to get the velocity? Okay. So how do we get velocity from the acceleration information, right? So that is basically, this is the generic language. Okay. Now we have to convert that to calculus. So that means what? Derivative of velocity is acceleration. That means dy by dt is equal to something. So from that you need to get y. Okay. So that is basically the velocity. So this one physics problem can be converted to mathematics problem, something like this, right? So I mean, there's
a lot of problems that you can just
exactly. So basically, many things, whatever we see in real world, they can be converted to mathematical problems, as I said earlier.
As you said earlier, exactly. So you consider yourself a math teacher, right? As you said earlier.
Yes.
Who do you think was your inspiration to start teaching? Right?
There are many people contributed to get this one, both positives as well as negatives. Right? So
you have a unique teaching style, right? So throughout your life, I'm assuming you've seen a lot of teaching styles, various teaching styles.
Yes.
So how do you know, this is a teaching style that will work towards children, or this is a teaching style that's bad?
Okay. Right. So I mean, starting from the primary school, we used to have different teachers. Okay. So one social teacher used to teach math for us. Okay. So then we learned how
primary school.
Yes. So how math should not be taught. Okay. So then we had a completely free academic year where math itself is not taught at all, right? Because there was no teacher. Okay. Then how self-learning works. Okay. That also I've seen. Okay, then we have a very strict math teacher. Okay, in our 7th class, 8th class. Okay, so he used to be very, very strict, and he used to scare people basically.
Yeah.
Whenever you can't even ask question. Okay, something like that. Right?
Yeah.
Then in the 9th and 10th class, being in a government school, we didn't have a proper teacher at all. Okay, for mathematics, we used to depend on some outside teachers, tuition teachers or something. I mean, they also basically don't know much mathematics, but we have learned how math should not be learned. Okay. So then in the other thing in Chaitanya Narayanam, and basically, I mean, I got
you went into the
unfortunately, I got
Chaitanya
into Chaitanya.
Narayana
I mean, of course, I should not be naming this one, but anyway.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyway,
Everyone knows the reality of
fine.
what
So
goes
basically,
on in
how there's a lot of pressure of putting a candidate into going through many topics at once without understanding the concepts behind it.
Okay.
So that also I have learned. Okay. Then in BSc completely there was no math teacher at all. So again it is self-learning. Self-learning is the best one. Okay, that's what I have realized at the end of the day. And then in IIT we used to have a very great teacher actually.
Okay.
His name is Professor Audai Nayagam. Okay. He was very great at teaching actually, right? So I mean, he used to teach only 1 page per day, right? But it was engaging throughout the lecture.
So
actually.
only 1 page every day?
Only 1 page, nothing more than that. Only 1 page, but that one, if you just listen to the classes, that is sufficient, more than enough actually.
Okay.
Right? So, and he used to give some assignments based on those kind of lectures actually.
Okay.
So that made me think, okay, this is how the math should be taught. Okay. So that is one. That's one professor. And we have our own supervisor, my own supervisor. So he used to also teach. He also used to teach BTech students actually.
Okay.
He was also very good in teaching actually. So he used to write many recaps. That's why you will see recaps at the beginning of the things. Right?
Previous lecture before you start any
exactly.
lecture. Right?
So I have taken the best possible merits of the great teachers, and then I try to weave in those ideas here.
Okay.
And apart from that, that one key thing is I always put myself in the student shoe. That is basically my identity, and the rest are basically my teachers'
You've derived it from
unique features actually.
Okay.
So that's
so
how I
you've talked about self-learning, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of students who believe that, oh, I don't want to listen to any lecture. I don't want to listen to a professor. I think self-learning would be better.
Right.
But I think, in my opinion, that they'll be missing out on a lot of, like, in a lecture, you would be learning more than just the subject. You'd be learning a good depth of the subject that you would be missing when you self-learn.
Correct.
Or it could also work the other way around.
Right.
What do you tell people that who prefer self-learning over listening to lectures?
Okay, so listening to basically if you attend the classes, basically we will give different perspectives, which may not be there in the textbook at that point of time, right? So we can connect different applications to that particular topic. Okay, and what will be happening in future in that particular topic, that also can be covered in the lecture actually.
Okay.
That might not be happening in the textbook or while doing the self-learning.
While doing the self-learning.
Yes.
But at some points in your life, it is still necessary to do self-learning.
Yes, obviously at the master's level or PhD level, so you are forced to do the self-learning. There is no other way. So it is always better to have both the things, self-learning as well as the classroom lecture exposure.
Okay. So you did your undergraduate from just like a regular degree college, right?
Yes.
And then from there you went to an IIT.
Yes.
So how was that transition like?
Oh, that was
because IIT is considered to be one of the best universities in India.
Correct. Right? Okay. So I don't think you'll believe this one. So basically, I didn't even know about IIT till my BSc.
Oh.
Okay. So basically, because of one fortunate lecturer, I considered myself to be very fortunate to have interaction with that particular lecturer. So in my second year of BSc, so there was one professor. He's basically a lecturer, not from math background, but some other physics background actually. So when I approached my math lecturer, saying that, sir, I wanted to do a master's in Usman University after completion of my BSc. So what do you suggest? So math lecturer didn't say anything. So then next to him, this physics lecturer was sitting. So he said that, why don't you try Hyderabad Central University or IITs? Okay. So then I got that word IIT. So that is the one time it stuck into my mind actually. So
Okay.
IIT, okay, fine. So how to get into IIT? So I asked him. So then he said that okay, there is one professor. So he is basically teaching these students, BSc students. So about this JEE the JAM program. So why don't you go and meet him? So then I went to him and asked about how to proceed. So then he took one year lecture sort of thing, and then through that I can get into the IITs.
IIT.
Most of the time I used to spend time in Central Library, Afzalganj.
Okay. That's nice. So what was like your one takeaway that you got from that, like IIT? Such a competitive environment, right?
It's a very competitive,
Very competitive environment.
Yeah. One key takeaway is basically how to learn the things.
Okay.
It basically builds your personality.
How to learn.
How to
right?
learn the
You
things.
learn how to learn.
Yes, you
Okay.
would learn how to learn.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of pressure would be there because people will be getting very good CGPAs, and so they are very academic oriented. A lot of peer pressure also will be there. But at the same time, you will get to know how a subject should be looked into, right? So basically, in what way should a subject should be learned. So that also will be known to us.
Also, when I was researching about you, I've noticed that you did really well on your GATE examination,
Okay.
right?
CSI.
So, what would you suggest people who are about to go into GATE? Right?
Very simple strategy actually.
Okay.
So you just have to look at the previous year question papers, okay, of whatever exam you are preparing for. So
Okay.
try to practice a few question papers of previous year. Just look at how the pattern is. Right?
Okay.
I'm talking only about the competitive exams. If you want
Okay.
to excel in the competitive exams,
Okay.
take the previous year
Your
question
question
papers and then try to look into the topics. Okay?
Okay.
And don't try to cover each and every topic if you don't have sufficient time.
Okay.
Right? If you have a very minimum amount of time, you stick to the topics which you are comfortable with and try to practice all the problems given in those previous year question papers.
Okay.
So that will boost up your confidence, and then you look for some more problems outside the material.
So, when you're talking about these competitive environments that people have created, even right now, a lot of people in Narayana Chaitanya are in this competitive environment. They're like, oh, we have to do this fast, we have to do this topic, we have to do that topic, and everything, right? So, do you think, like, when you're in this environment, when you're trying to learn a concept, or you're trying to learn a math concept, right? Do you think the depth of what you're trying to learn is lost, right?
Completely lost. Yes, I completely
so what do you
agree
have
with
to
that.
say about people learning in a competitive environment? Like, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing?
Again, it depends on the person actually.
Okay.
So if he wants to crack that exam at any cost, okay,
Yeah.
so then basically you have to trust them.
Right.
That their approach might be good, so you have to trust them.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn the subject, okay, so then you have to stick to your
Slow-paced
goals actually.
learning.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
that you have to stick to it. That you have to take a decision.
Yeah.
So no other person will be telling you actually. Right?
Okay.
If you want to clear it within
depends
short
on
span of
where
time.
you want to head,
Yes,
right?
yes. Because the time is very short, no.
Right.
So within that short time, we can't be sticking to the concepts. In
Got
that
it.
way. Basically, depending on the type of examination, we have to tailor-made our approach actually.
Okay.
Right.
So one last question before we
Yes.
end the interview. Recently, in like one of the videos, I noticed that there was this physicist. I think he's just a PhD from MIT,
Okay.
right? And he was talking about how when he was in a math class, I think he was talking about Fourier transforms.
Okay.
When he was in a math class, he was trying to understand that concept, but he only half understood it.
Okay.
Right? But when he was in a physics class, right, and they were trying to reintroduce the topic,
Okay.
it clicked for him then. Like the mathematical perspective of it clicked for him then.
Okay. Okay.
Right. And I noticed like a lot of people, a lot of concepts in math click for them when they're dealing with it in other disciplines.
Yes, yes.
Right. What do you have to say about this? Like, what's your opinion on this?
In my opinion, that's what I think. The perspective matters there actually.
Perspective?
So the perspective, it might not be immediate to us.
Okay.
For example, while proving a theorem, if you are approaching in only one direction, it might not complete it. Actually, you might
Okay.
not be reaching the end stage, right? So again, you might have to revamp your thinking. Okay, which might be coming while you are going to. Maybe while you are listening to music. Okay. So
Okay.
the perspective will.
The perspective, like once
it
you have
will
a change in
completely
the
change.
perspective, it's like
Yes,
looking
yes,
at
yes.
a completely different picture.
Yes.
Right.
So it is going to lead you to the final
Got it.
things.
Got it. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you
coming
so
down
much,
here,
Ankit. Thank you so much for
sitting us
giving
in
me the
interview.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to interview. It was really very
Yeah.
nice. Okay, thank you so much, sir. for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you, Ankit.
Thank you so much for everyone who's listening to this podcast.